office.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. So how are you this week?
I'm doing pretty good, and yourself?
Good. I'm glad you're doing well. Me too. I'm loving the weather right now.
Oh yeah, it is so nice out there.
I think so too. Yeah, I can go for more walks, more outside activities, right?
Yeah, me too. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, maybe I should go for a walk later on.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think you should definitely utilize that, the good weather.
Sure.
Yeah, so we've kind of been seeing each other for a few times now. And I remember during one of our first sessions, we talked about a homework assignment of journaling when Michael doesn't talk to you and just journaling your feelings and thoughts. Do you want to tell me how it's going?
Well, it's been going pretty good so far. Whenever he locks himself in the room, I try to turn to the papers instead of annoying him, and that helps me relax also because then I have my thoughts and feelings on paper instead of thinking about taking it out on him. And I also suggested that he do the same thing and see if that helps him, but nothing so far. So
When you say nothing so far, can you help me understand a little better? Can you maybe elaborate more?
well, when I brought up the idea that maybe we should both journal and like write down our feelings, he just brushed it off and was like, well, they didn't seem interested in it. So I mean, I'm gonna keep trying everything to get him to open, but yeah.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is it's helping you kind of relax a little more because you have your thoughts and your feelings down on paper, but it's not doing so well for Michael right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want Michael to start doing it? Is that your goal, or what are you kind of looking for?
Well, my main goal is just to get him to open up in some form. If he has his feelings expressed either on paper or to somebody else, it's gonna be a great idea for me. But I just don't want him to keep it all in and then one day release the anger on somebody else or get himself harmed. So I just want the best for him.
Yeah, it sounds like such a good mom. I'm so worried about him.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so what I'm kind of hearing, am I able to clarify for you?
Of course.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that you're just really concerned that all of Michael's pent up feelings that he's keeping bottled up and not talking to you or anyone else about are going to affect him in a negative way.
Yeah, that's my thoughts exactly. Because like if you're not able to express yourself or talk to anybody, you're just keeping all that feelings in, and then one day when a little incident happened, you just snap and just take it out or do something worse to harm himself, or like he actually did in the past to put his hands or injure a fellow classmate. I don't want that repeating itself anymore. So
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like a really good goal to have. Yeah, do you mind if I circle on back to you for a second? Because I want to make sure mom's taken care of and mom feels good as well, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you tell me a little bit more about your journaling and how the experience has helped you?
Well, whenever I feel down or having a great mood, I just write it down and look back at it and think of the positive instead of focusing more on the negative things. So if I'm angry or mad that Michael isn't communicating with me, instead of getting upset with him, I write it down and then go back and reread everything that I wrote. And then I'm also turning to family members for support and letting them know everything that happened with Michael instead of having me handle all the problems by myself, because it provides some type of relief of me, so they're aware of what is going on in case something does happen.
Wow, that's really awesome to hear that you're turning to family members for support.
Yeah.
I know that was something we had talked about previously that you were very scared to do.
Yeah. And it really helps a lot because at first, like, you're just having all of these problems on yourself, and it wasn't helping the situation at all. So now that his grandparents know, maybe they too can call him and see what exactly he wants to do, if he wants to go back to Florida and live with them or continue to live here, because as I stated in our second session, I just want the best for him and I don't want to see anything bad happen.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome. That's a really positive way to step towards your goal and move forward.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit of how that has lifted some pressure off of you?
Well, now I feel like I have a more direct support system, and that they're also willing to help me out, and instead of taking all the burden and trying to pressure Michael to talk to me, now he has somebody else that he can talk to, and if he wants to express himself to them, if he's more comfortable with that, I'm okay with it, as long as he's communicating with somebody instead of being locked up in his room the entire time.
That's good. So what I'm hearing is what your main goal is, you just really want Michael to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that you reached out and talked to your family members so he has some extra support.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know that we talked about you were scared to tell them at first because you didn't know how they would react or if they would judge Michael differently.
Yeah.
Can you tell me how that initial conversation went?
Oh, well, first off, I called to check up on them, and they wanted to know exactly what all was going on with us and how Michael was doing, since it's been a while. He usually called his grandparents, like before he would call them all the time, but then he stopped, so they kind of grew concerned as to what was going on, and they wanted to know what was going on, so I just had to come clean and let them know the problems that he went through with following a bad group of friends, injuring a fellow classmate and putting them in the hospital, and being expelled from school. And they felt hurt because they love Michael. They're his grandparents, and they was willing to step in and tell me, like, if I need any type of help with Michael, if I want to send him back, I should let them know. But I told them they can also call and talk to Michael and have him give his personal feelings on what he wants to do, instead of me making a decision for him.
Okay, that sounds awesome. It sounds like they reacted really positively and they had the same kind of mindset and mentality that you had, and they just wanted to help Michael too.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm glad that you have such a positive support system and that you can finally feel a little bit more relaxed by having journaling and letting out some of your thoughts and some of your feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those are all the things that are kind of going well right now.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's maybe not been working or what's not been going so well?
As I stated, just from the beginning, the communication is still the main thing that haven't been going well, and Michael keeps to himself. Maybe he'll say a few words from now and then, but apart from that, he just keep everything to himself. So that'll be the negative side of things. But work has been going good. Now I feel that I have the support that I need to finally get him to open up. Possibly, maybe he might open up to his grandparents or friends from back home, but I'm not crossing out any luck. Maybe something might work out in the end.
Yeah, it's all a learning process. It's something that's going to take some time and it might not happen overnight. So I'm really glad that you're having such good patience and you're willing to work with your son and try new things. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you said that Michael still isn't talking to you as much as you want him to, right?
Yeah. I just want him to be open and free and feel like I'm his mother and he can come to me with any problems without being like thinking that I'm gonna be upset with him when things doesn't go his way. So I'm trying to work one step at a time to just remind him that it's okay to have anger, or it's okay to be upset about things, but it's even more okay if you open up to me and let me know, so I know exactly what is going on, so I know what form of help to get you. But if you keep everything balled up within yourself, there is no way I can help you in any form or shape.
Yeah, is it okay if I clarify real quick?
Of course.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is you have that open communication with Michael one-sidedly, where you kind of go and talk to him and you say, I'm here if you need me, you know, I'm your mama, you can talk to me. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is
Okay.
correct.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have like really great ideas about, I remember in one of our first sessions you talked about maybe moving Michael back with his grandparents might help him, and it sounds like you have a lot of good ideas, and I was just wondering what kind of ideas you think would help you and Michael in the future with more communication.
Maybe once he's able to open up to his grandparents or his friends, he might come around and see that I'm only looking for his best interest. Maybe a baby step, one step at a time, he might finally decide to talk to me and let me know exactly the problems that he's been going through.
Yeah, baby steps are a great way to kind of just get started, get one foot out the door.
Yeah.
It's okay to take baby steps. That's how we get places. That's how we get to where we want to be, to our goals, right?
That is true.
Yeah, so what you're saying, if I heard you correctly, is you think once Michael opens up to his grandparents that maybe one step at a time he'll start to open up to you more, right?
Yeah, that is exactly.
Awesome. So what are some ways that you think might help Michael open up to his grandparents?
Probably encouraging him to call them probably every other day, or if he feels like talking to somebody and not me he wants to talk to, he knows that your grandparents and friends are still here for you, even though they live back home in Florida. You can always contact them and let them know that you need someone to talk to, or if you need to take a vacation or go back home to release some stress, that is okay also, because if you're talking to your grandparents, they might know the best way to help you that I might not be able to provide for you since I'm your mother. And most kids probably open up more to their grandparents than they would to their mother.
Yeah, most kids.
Yeah.
When they get in their teenage years, they're kind of angsty teenagers, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that you recognize that. Well, we only have a few minutes left. I think we had a really good, productive session. I kind of wanted to just go over everything once more and clarify everything with you. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you told me that the journaling was working pretty good for you. It's helping you to relax and get your feelings kind of down on paper. Yeah, I really liked how you told me that, you know, if you get kind of upset at Michael, you were able to go back and reread those entries and kind of calm yourself down. I'm glad that that's helping.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you also told me that you're feeling like you have a good support system now, which I think is awesome, because no one has to feel or should feel like they are dealing with anything alone. Yeah, and you came up with a great idea of just maybe encouraging Michael to talk to his grandparents a little more often and call them a little more often, and we can check back on that next session and see how that's going.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to talk about or ask questions about before we end the session today?
I probably just continue to do the journaling and see how that goes, and continue to talk to Michael even if he's not responding back to me, just so he knows that I still care. So hopefully by then he might want to write down his feelings as well, or follow me to a session, or come by himself to see anybody, any therapy. It cannot be you. I don't know, if he wants to come and see you, he can, or if he wants to see somebody else, that is perfectly fine. So hopefully we get to that step where he's comfortable to communicate again, and instead of just keeping things into himself.
Yeah, and I'm hopeful that by you coming here and being so willing to take all these steps and being really strong for your son, I think that you will get communication eventually. It's just a time thing, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when would you like to come in next?
We can keep it the same day.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
Yeah, same day and time
Okay.
next week.
Perfect. Well, I'll see you then.
All right,
Okay,
thank you.
thanks for coming in, Michelle.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll get the door for you.
Thanks.